I sense a meltdown coming, and just wanted to see if I could do some recording and kind of catch it in the process and just discuss something that happened. Maybe not all of it because it's kind of a private matter, but yeah. I was overstimulated. Basically, I was overstimulated, and I had promised to meet up with someone, a friend, and help her to do something, which I really wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, I really wanted to do it. And what happened is it just basically put me in a position to get even more overstimulated. And I guess I just really wish that I understood more about my masking, like what I do. And it's just really frustrating because when you get to a certain age and you don't really know who you are, like masking your whole life and having delayed processing and just it's like you have to behave like other people. You have to show up and look like everybody else. And what is that like? Like, what does that do to somebody's nervous system? And how exhausting is it? And when you just want to be able to relax and be present and enjoy things, and you don't really know what that is, what you are. Now light a little candle. Apparently I did something too that hurt somebody or upset somebody, and that was not my intention. I guess I was too overstimulated to really realize. I know, they say pick your battles. It's probably not even anything that, it could have been something that just could have just, let go. And I didn't let it go. I just had to say something about it. And I guess I personally could have tried to understand where these people were coming from, or I don't know, I guess a change took place, and I was sick when a boat went down for a certain thing, and so I wasn't there, and it made a big change in this particular group, and I feel like it's not a very loving, inclusive sort of a change. And that's okay because I wasn't there. I didn't vote. And then I was told tonight, well, you should have, like, get your vote in, have somebody else take your vote in. Which that's not something that would be acceptable. You have to be present to vote. But anyway, I'm probably not making any sense. Which is okay. But let's do this little froggy light. I love frogs. Actually, one of my collections is frogs. My kids got me a lot of frogs growing up. It's really sweet. I have a lot of little frogs they gave me. Yeah, I was trying to think of, like, what would I be? Who would I be? How would I be if I didn't mask? Like, I'm just not sure. Maybe I'd be more like the way I am right now. Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden on my friends. And so that makes me not want to reach out when I'm having a hard time. But it's like, what can they do? When I was a child, I would have these crying fits. And I was told that if I kept having the crying fits, that they would have to give me medication. And so I stopped crying. I just made myself stop crying, like crying outwardly. Because I'd seen what the medication had done to people. And so I learned to cry quietly. But I just really wonder, like I wish I could just go through a day and just be whatever I am. Like, what would that look like? Like, what would that be? How would that be? I don't even know, like, because obviously I've suppressed whatever it is that I am over time, and it's just, this is just so a part of me, of who I am, like. And it's interesting because, like, the other day I was driving somewhere to a doctor's appointment or something, and I saw a boy, probably, I don't know, maybe it was like 6 foot, walking down the street, and he's obviously on the spectrum, and making making arm gestures and making strange jerking things with his head and stuff. And I was like, that stands out. That stands out a lot. And people are going to notice that. And they're going to be like, what is wrong with that kid? But me, as I'm driving and I'm seeing this kid walking down the street, I'm thinking, yep, he's neurodivergent. And I'm just thinking, no. The general narrative is jack them up on some kind of medication. Not let's accept these people for how they are and who they are. And let's understand the fact that, their movement or their behavior that may not be like my behavior or the average person's behavior is totally normal for them. Like, I thought something was wrong with me because I was sensitive or that I cried. And when I think back about, the home that I grew up in foster care. And, it wasn't a loving situation. It was not loving. It was abusive. And just that alone would make people cry. The treatment that I received is enough to make someone cry. On a good day. That's not including the fact that you're neurodivergent and that you have even more sensitivities than other people. And yeah, so I can look back at it and I can say, that little child that was me really deserved to be treated kinder. And if she needed to melt down or cry, and she had every right to do that, but that's normal. Some people don't have meltdowns. I'd like to understand the neurobiology of all of that. Like, is it because I come from trauma? But could be, maybe not. I don't know. Because some people don't even have meltdowns or shutdowns. And me, I have them. I experience them. I've had shutdowns where I regress and I don't remember things. I don't remember how to do things that I used to know how to do. And that's really frustrating. To lose skills and to have to keep relearning things because the stress of trying to navigate in this world just sometimes it just gets to be too much. And this particular meeting tonight, I just feel like I don't ever want to be involved with it. Maybe that's just, frustration speaking, but another part of me, just my heart is like, I'm just so done with cruelty and just done with it. I'm done with. But no, I get it. Everybody has their ideas about things, and their needs and their wants. And everybody has a need to feel safe and to belong and to be a part of something. And maybe for some people, they just don't feel safe with certain things in this particular group. I can't really say too much about it. But anyway, I just wish that somehow I could know, like, or I could see some kind of vision of like what I am without the masking. Like, I know that for some things, I've been told that I'm too much. Too much. You're too much. You know, you laugh too much. You cry too much. It's either everything's too much or you don't do enough. It's never that who you are, what you are, is okay, just the way you are. And I think that comes to the fact that now, as an adult, to reparent that part of you that didn't get the needs met as a child. All of us can have that. Every one of us can have gaps in the way we were raised and begin to try and fill in those gaps and provide the nurturing and the love to ourselves that we didn't get. Seems like it feels helpful that I'm doing this video. I'm feeling a little bit calmer just talking about this. So that's a good thing. I think it's possible. And I'm hoping bit by bit, like I'm feeling like maybe I'm more real to who I am than the layers and layers of masks. I just want to be me. I just want to be me. And today I had a moment in a public library. I was trying really hard. I was working on some paperwork, trying really hard to get some stuff sorted out. And there was this woman, and I've seen her in the library before. She kind of like goes there and kind of camps out in the library. And let me get myself a drink. And anyway, she just started talking to me. She started saying like, "No, the library closes at 7." And I was like, "I didn't ask you, lady. I didn't say that to her, but I was thinking this in my head. I was like, I did not ask for, that library hours. I assumed it closed around 6. I didn't really care because I was only going to be there for a few minutes, but I ignored her, and she just was like, "Did you know that the library is blah, 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 blah?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm very busy. Please leave me alone." And I continue to work, and my computer's out. And she's like, "I'm just trying to," and I said, "Nope. Like, I'm just trying to give you the information about the library staying open later," or I don't know, I forget what she was saying, but something on that level. And I was like, nope, nope. I got a lot of work to do here, and I just don't need to be bothered. Can't be bothered. I didn't have my headphones on to where I could, like, block her this way. And so then I was trying to do some remote printing, and this library is very wanting. And I love libraries. If you're a library person like me, you'll know that there are some libraries that are awesome, and there are some libraries that are wanting. And anyway, this library doesn't often have on their computers an accessible version of Microsoft Word. And so the librarian has to go in there, and she uses her version, her own version, and she puts them on all four of the computers. And then, so she has to get, when you want to use Microsoft Word to do something, you literally have to go ask her, and then she has to sign in. Not like you can just go in there and work on a document. So I'm trying to do some remote printing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's easy. You just use the certain. You can use a certain Wi-Fi, and you can directly print." So I go on the Wi-Fi, I get my document, print, send, print, whatever, and it's like my option is not to print, but it's to save it. And I go, I never seen this before. Mind you, I need these documents for Social Security. And so, and I have an appointment like on the 15th, which, so I'm trying to be ahead of the game and get all this paperwork that they want. And so I'm sitting here fighting with this, with the lady talking to me, and her and this other lady, like the crinkle wrappers, because they're eating something, and then they're listening to some weird, like it sounds like AI. It sounds like some kind, AI, like not a show, but like a movie, AI movie, right? And so like my brain is like, oh god, oh, AI movie, right? It's like shit. And then she's got her computer, and she's got and the library's really tiny. Really tiny. So like you can hear everything that's going on. You could smell everything that's going on. And I'm sitting there, and so I thought I had gotten rid of her. Because I'm like, just leave me alone. And nope. I'm trying to, and I can't get the print thing, so I've got to go talk to the librarian about printing. So I go up there, and of course this lady is at the main desk, and she's taking up the whole area and just standing. She takes up a lot of area. Okay, mind you, I'm not fat shaming. I'm just saying she was taking up some space there, so that I couldn't talk to the lady about the fact that I can't print. So I'm looking over her to the librarian to be like, hey, I'm having this problem. And so I make eye contact with the librarian. I'm like, hey, I'm having, yeah, you told me the right Wi-Fi. I'm using it, but for some reason it's, I'll be right over there. So she comes over there, and she's like, maybe we need to upgrade the printer. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't take this. I can't fucking take this. Maybe we need to upgrade the printer to make the printer work. So she comes back with the scan of the printer with the, how it shows that the printer's working. And I'm like, yeah, but this isn't getting to that. That's the problem, not the printers. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. She was trying to troubleshoot it, and that's good. Okay. So, but I think before that, the lady had asked me something else. Did she ask me something else before that? I forget. But at some point, I did tell the librarian that she needs to tell that lady to just leave me alone. That I've got a lot to do. I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done, and I'm not there to visit. And is that rude? I don't care. I just don't care. And so ultimately, she couldn't figure it out. I was not able to remote print to get these documents ready. So I still have to do that. And so just the fact that I'd set a boundary with this person, with this lady, and she continued to, that was a, what would you call it? Definitely overstimulating, for one. And for two, irritating. And for three, it was very difficult for me to refocus. Because if you know, ADHD, autistic, being interrupted is like stopping a freight train at 100 miles an hour. Okay? Doesn't go very well. And, but on a positive note, I found the documents I needed. I'm able to, now I know I can get back to those documents. And, I think I need a sweater. I think I'm gonna opt for a coat. Opting for a coat. All right. Where was I bitching about this time? Sorry. I don't even know if this is going to help anybody or if this is even useful. But I just feel like it's helping me. Like right now, it's helping me. I didn't go to full-blown meltdown, so maybe there's something for that. Substance abuse is common for people with autism and ADHD. It's common. Compulsively eating or alcoholism or drug addictions. And probably the first 12 steppers were, my guess, Bill and Bob were probably likely somewhere on the spectrum. But more people, other people as well as neurodiverse people, likely mask. I mean, it is something that we do in society, We're expected to be a certain way. We're expected to behave in certain ways. We're expected to look certain ways. We're expected to be polite in certain ways. I was just talking to my friend about how Western culture, I knew a man who was a native man, and he took me to elders honoring luncheon at a tribe near here. And he was my friend, and he took me, and he brought his other friend. So the three of us went. And I was telling my friend about this, how in Western culture we have little to no respect for our older people, elders. And I went to this honoring dinner, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. I was, not sure what to expect. But they were handing out gifts. They were giving gifts to all of the seniors, okay? All of the elderly. And they set a gift in front of my friend, and then they set a gift in front of the other male friend that came with us, his friend. And they missed. The young girl skipped me with the gift. And so my friend, Chief, he said, and he stopped the girl and he said, you missed her with the gift. And his friend took his gift and gave it to me. And then she brought me a gift. So I had 2 gifts. But we also went to a powwow. And these younger people brought us chairs and set the chairs up for us. And this culture of people native to this area, they honor the elders. And when you see that and you experience that, it makes you wonder why our culture doesn't have that sort of reverence and respect for the elders. And anyway, it's a weird question to ask yourself late in life. Who am I? Who is the real me? What am I? And being unofficially diagnosed with autistic burnout, because that's what, when I had my assessment, that's what the lady that was assessing me, she asked me, have you heard of autistic burnout? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And I think I might have mentioned this in another one of my videos. So I came home after this assessment and I went through my, 3 or 4 file folders of information about autism. And of course there was something that I printed off about autistic burnout. So apparently I had heard of it or seen it because I had some information on it. And apparently it's what happens when you spend a good part of your life trying to fit in and live your life without any kind of accommodations, and you're neurodiverse and you're just exhausted. You're exhausted because you're masking all the time. You're not able to really get gainful employment. Like statistically, I think it's like 80-90% of us are underemployed. And it's not for a lack of being talented. I can type probably 75, 80 words a minute. And I can learn computer programs pretty quickly. I I look back over the span of my life, I think back of all the different jobs I've had. Look, I've had so many different jobs. And like one thing or another will happen to where you know, it's one job I had. Oh man, don't even get me started on jobs. I'm getting myself started on jobs. This one particular job I had, well, I was sewing down comforters. Okay? And I learned it pretty quickly. And I feel like I was pretty good at it. And the name of the company shall remain unnamed, hopefully. Hopefully I won't spit that out. But, so, yeah, so I was working for this guy. And it was in his garage. It was kind of a garage deal. I had lots of garage jobs. One, it was like, the garage was so cold. Not funny, but it was really cold. But this garage job, okay, this garage job, uh, pretty fascinating, you know, because I can sew, I can do a straight stitch, I can do a few fancy things too. But I had this job where I would actually, it was kind of fascinating because I'd actually have to use this machine, and I would actually have to weigh out the down fill. I'd have to weigh it out, and then I would have to put it into this machine that I would have to feed this little tube. I mean, he designed all this stuff, which is kind of pretty fascinating, but I would have to like put this tube inside of the quilt, the comforter, and get up into the different blocks. Okay. And I think they kind of had like a baffle so that it would go in one way but not come out the other way. So I literally have to figure out, do they want it a dense comforter, they want a light comforter, whatever. And then there was different types of down. So there was like the more expensive downs or the less expensive downs. So you have to literally weigh out this down, which is like wanting to fly in the air all the time. So you're like, I forget how I even got it in the little weighing thing, but like I'd have to weigh it, and then I would have to put it in the hopper or whatever it was to like inject it into the little. And so, mind you, it might be like a twin comforter, it could be a queen comforter, it could be a king comforter. So like I have it laid out on a table, and I'd have to inject the down into each one of the little pillows, right? And he'd get like maybe, I don't know, maybe up to 20 orders in a day. And so there I was back in the garage, weighing and filling, and as an autistic person, like that's kind of cool because I'm doing the same thing, which each one is a little bit unique because it could involve, all those variations that I just mentioned. And then basically I would sew it up. I'd have to put his labels on. I'd sew those on. I think I sewed the labels on first before I did all the weird billowing. And then fold and sew up the very end and try to make that as clean as possible. But so like I thought I did really good. I was doing that for maybe a couple months. And that's probably the average of my job. My jobs are like about 2 months. On average, maybe. I don't know. I think there were a few that lasted a little bit longer, but anyway, so there I am, working, blah blah blah, using an industrial machine which I'd never used before, which was really cool. Like the lady that taught me so he had this friend who was a seamstress, and I think she taught classes in one of the little towns over there, and she taught me how to do everything. And then took off, and then I had to just like sink or swim, just do it, So I was swimming, and big industrial machine. Eventually, the bobbin ran out. Okay, so I'm working like his wife was a little weird. Okay, his wife was just different. Okay, no, she was fucking weird. Okay, there's two sides of me. I want to say like, oh yeah, let's just tone that down a little bit and not tell the fact that she was fucking weird. Oops, I don't think I'm supposed to say the F word on YouTube. Anyway, I'll try and delete that out of here. But okay, so approximately where is that gonna be at? All right. So there I am. I'm back there, and I'm making the little down comforters, right? And mind you, I'm an artist. I'm a musician, and I've raised children, and I've sewn their clothes, and I've sewn their friends' clothes, like not from scratch, mind you. I could never do that, but like I've mended. I've done a lot of mending, okay, over the years, and I have created stuff. Like I'm really good at like taking something and altering it and making it into something completely different. Um, so he has a computer out in the garage. So I go to the computer and I'm like looking up the machine that I'm working on, and I'm looking up the placement of the bobbin, because if you're a seamstress or sew, like I'm not a seamstress, don't get me wrong. If you sew, then you know that a machine's, unless it's a serger, has a bobbin, right? Has a bobbin. It's loaded in there. There's a thread up from the bottom, right? So, and if you don't get that bobbin in there properly, we all know what happens. It's a big twiny mess. Okay? I'm serious. You put that bobbin, you drop that bobbin in the wrong way, clockwise, counterclockwise, I don't care. Each machine is unique. So I go online, I find the manual for this machine, and I'm looking for how to drop the bobbin in. So dude comes out on the computer. What, he thinks I'm watching a movie or something? He's like, what are you doing on the computer? I should have just said, well, I'm watching. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I said, well, I'm looking up information on how to replace the bobbin. And he's like, well, that machine doesn't have a bobbin. He's like, that machine does not have a bobbin. And I'm like, is this guy fucking nuts? Is this guy nuts? Is he crazy? Like, I'm literally holding the bobbin, or it's on the table, or it's there somewhere. And just like, this guy can't be that stupid. Like, he's running a business, but maybe he doesn't know how to sew. Okay, he knows business. He had his friends set up all this stuff in his garage. He's just not aware that sewing machines have bobbins. Okay, sergers don't have bobbins because they're all the threads are above ground. Okay. So I'm looking up this doesn't have a bobbin, and I'm just like, well, okay, I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know what to do. So I don't even know what ended up happening. I think he left. Probably thought I was just sitting there messing around, looking at the computer for fun. Anyway, so like I figured it out. I probably made myself a diagram, because that's how I roll. I made myself a little diagram, so I'll have to go to the computer again and look it up, because after all, it's got the weirdest vibes about me being on the computer. And so lo and behold, I get back over to the computer, or not the computer, but to the machine, and I either discovered it on my own. I'm pretty sure I discovered it on my own, and what it was this is as like self-threading bobbin, or that's not really self-loading bobbin. Okay, and what that means, so what it basically is you put the bobbin on a little clip or whatever, and then you load it. And somehow, I don't exactly know how, whether I had 2 rolls of thread, maybe that was it. But while you're sewing, it's loading that bobbin. So you don't have to wind the bobbin separately. So the whole time you're sewing, it's loading your next bobbin. So that's kind of cool. And I didn't know that was a feature. So my guess is Mr. Pillowmaker was told by the guy he bought the machine from that you don't even have a you don't even need a bobbin, or you don't need to widen the bobbin. That's probably what the guy told him. You don't need to wind the bobbin. You can just do this. This is what I'm guessing. And so, so I was like, light bulb, little light bulb moment. I'm like, now I get it. Now I understand. Like, he was probably told this thing doesn't have a bobbin, or you don't have to load the bobbin, whatever. Either way, I still had to drop a bobbin in to use the machine. And anyway, so funny. Just think back all the different jobs I've had. So prior to the bobbin incident, prior to me wasting his time and his money by staring at the computer for 10 hours, that's probably what he thought. I don't know. He probably had a camera. All businesses have cameras. So, oh, and I got a good one to tell you about a job I had with camera. Little camera thing. Couple of camera job things. But anyway, so I got to tell you, I got to proceed the bobbin thing with the wife. Okay, so this one time, like, okay, if you sew, eventually you get a groove. And if you're doing the same thing, you get a real good groove. So you're like, right? And so I'm in there, and I'm on a good groove. I'm like, and I think probably sealing up a whole side of the thing. So that's just quite a long distance. So I'm right? Never, ever. Maybe when I was 10 and I used a machine, I think I probably got a needle in my finger once, but never in my whole life. I'm like, I don't even remember. Maybe I did. I must have done it once. I think I must have done it once as a kid. Okay, when I was first learning to sew. And so I'm sitting there when wife walks in. Strange lurky wife come out to the garage. She's lurking. All right, and she's lurking, and she's like looking over my shoulder, watching my way, and she's hearing this, me on a groove. I'm doing it. I'm doing the job. And she's like, I worked in a jean factory once, and a girl she was like, I worked in this jean factory one time, and this girl got this needle right in her finger. And I was like, she's like staring at her like, okay, and your point is, as I'm, she's like, and she was going fast like you are right now. And like, are you worried about Elle and I or something? Like, what's your deal, lady? Anyway, so then she leaves, and then like I can smell the cannabis. I can literally smell the cannabis wafting from when she comes and goes, when she opens the door. So my guess is the two of them are whatever they do. Maybe it was bong hits. Anyway, so a few minutes later, he comes out there. And he's just like, so my wife says you're out here sewing too fast, or you're going too fast, or I don't know what the heck he said, something. I'm like, no, I'm, once I kind of get to know what I'm doing, it's just, I think that happened before the bobbin incident, okay? So, mind you, I would fill the orders. I would fill all the orders, and then I also had to make bags. So I would make these bags to put the comforters in. So I had a serger that I was working with. So that was fun, and I got to learn, this industrial machine, which I felt like I did really well because I learned it in really short order, and I'm literally building product for this guy, and I was filling the orders. Like, I think it was like, what was that, my first couple weeks or month, or I don't know. I didn't work there very long, but I'm filling his orders. I'm getting all the orders. And I forget what I was doing. I think I might have just been kind of setting them as little packages. Once I get them done, I would kind of just, here's the bag it's going to go in, or maybe I put them in the bag and I had them set there with the order. I forget. But there was one other step that I was supposed to do, and I forget what that step was now. I don't remember, but for some reason, he would come out. I mean, he came out and he would do this step, and I forget what it was. Hopefully I'll remember before I'm done with this story. But anyway, so it just got to the point where there was kind of this weird strange strain. I didn't really feel encouraged, like, hey, you're doing a good job. Look at how well you've done, And I'm sorry, some people think like that's overrated when you're working for somebody. But you know what? If you don't get any feedback at all from people that you're working for, like, how do you know if what you're doing is okay? Everything is going good, And mind you, he was pretty cool. The very first comforter that I made, he gave it to me. So that was what I still have it. And I would order from him, unless I could find something cheaper from Canada, which you just might be able to. Anyway, garage dude. So there's snow on the ground. There's been snow. It's been difficult to kind of get to my job because of the snow, and maybe I don't know. So, and then he had a driveway that was kind of slanted. It slanted into the garage, and mind you, after my shift, after I would have to go around and vacuum and clean up the whole place because there were feathers everywhere. I gotta stop using that word. Maybe I can bleep it out. Hopefully I can figure out how to bleep. I wish I could find a friend that is good at editing. I can just give him these videos and he'd be like, can you take out all the... Anyway. Yeah, so something happened to where, like, okay, I forget, like, I had to pull down into this driveway with all the snow, and I don't remember, I tried to, like, I think he had to leave, so I had to be careful where I parked, or his wife was going to leave, so I had to, like, park in a certain place and all this stuff, and then, so I think I was worried about being able to back up out of that with the snow and stuff, and so I ended up, I forget what I did, maybe I parked behind her or something because there was tire tread, so I knew that I would get a grip and be able to back out of there or something. So that upset them, and I forget, there was other little weird things, and mind you, I'm not that social, and they wanted me to come in and like eat with them, and they would buy like this teriyaki stuff, and I would have to go in and eat with them. They're like all friendly and all this, really cool, but they were definitely stoners, and then like the lurking wife, just kind of coming out there and just kind of spying. It was kind of like she was this one that spied on me. That's what it felt like. That was the energy. It was like, okay, here she comes, she's spying on me, making sure I'm working, I guess. When I work. If you're autistic, we work. We work hard. We are hard workers. It's not even a question. In fact, I've heard it said that like autistic people work 140 times more than better or whatever. I don't know. It's exact. But we work hard. And anyway, so like I forget what it was, but I came back one day and he met me out in a snowy driveway, and hands me a check, and he says, I think we're good. We're good. Or I forget even the words, and I was like, I think you're right. I think we are good. Let's just take that check and get the heck out of here. And so yeah, I think that maybe lasted 2 months, which is really sad because like I learned it and I was having fun. I thought it was okay. I just like really breathing all the floundering particles in the air. It could have had like a better ventilation or even a ventilation system in the barn. I mean the garage. Is it a barn? It's the garage. But anyway, yeah, that's just one of many of the fun jobs that I've had as an autistic person. Yeah, it's been very, very fun and very, very challenging, and I'm being sarcastic there. It's interesting because years and years ago when my children were little, I went to the Department of Vocational Rehab, and I was like, I really think I need some help here with this whole job thing. It's not for a lack of wanting a job. I wanted a job since I had my first paper route. No, not only did I have a paper route, I had like 3 of them, okay? Honestly, I think I had 2, but it seemed like I had those weird little insert things I had to deliver to, so it felt like 3. But, babysitting, you name it, I would do it because I wanted to buy a bicycle. And I bought it. I got my own. I got like a men's, 17-inch 10-speed, and like I could barely ride that thing, but I paid for it myself. I wanted to work since I was a kid. I wanted to do something, make money. I always wanted to make money and have my own money to spend. And yeah, so I tried really hard, to do the thing that we're all supposed to do, get a job. And it used to be like when I was a lot younger, it used to be you could get just about any job and work your way up, just learn what was needed and work your way up. But as you get older, there's a lot more discrimination in employment when you're older, as you get older. And I know that a lot of autistic people become entrepreneurs or ADHD people become entrepreneurs and have their own business because working for other people really bites. You got the creepy lurking wife spying on you, and the dude that doesn't even know that his machines have a bobbin. It's like, yeah, that was just so bizarre. It was really hard for me to like grasp that one. Maybe I seem over dramatic about it, but it was very bizarre. I wish, when I think back, you think about like the movies, like the character goes through all this stuff, lots of bad things happen and blah blah blah, and then there's like that turnaround part, right, where he starts saying the right things and everything just starts falling into place for him, and the end of the film and whatnot. But wouldn't it be awesome if you could rewind your life and you go back into these certain aspects and certain parts of your life where you could just like take that bobbin and shove it in the guy's face and be like, well, what's this, guy? What is this I'm holding right here? You know, I don't even think I thought to show it to him. I don't know, because I don't think I showed it to him. I think I was just so stunned. I think I was just so stunned that he didn't think that machine had a problem. That I was just like, he's got to be joking. Like I think my brain had like a malfunction. I think my brain malfunctioned because I'm like, this guy can't be that stupid. Maybe he is. Maybe he is that stupid. I think cannabis makes you stupid. So this is something for all the young people out there. Don't do cannabis. That stuff will make you stupid. You know, there's a few things that'll make you stupid in life, and that's one of them. And the fact that stuff's pretty concentrated these days. It's some pretty serious stuff. Anyway, well, I don't know. This is a kind of a long rant. At least I didn't have a meltdown, so that's kind of cool. Maybe there's something to it. You know, journaling. I've learned this new type of journaling called interstitial journaling. Here's my little torn up. There's a lot of videos out there on it, but I will give you my plug on this. I've been doing this for, how long have I been doing this? I think this is my second. This is my second one. This is my second little notebook, and I don't even put the dates on this. Maybe I'll start putting the dates on these. But basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna plug in the time. I'm not gonna really show you this, because I never know what I was doing. That didn't sound right, but you know. If you know, you know what I mean. So you basically gonna just plug in a time. Like for instance, right now, I'm going to get a fix on the time. It's probably like 11 o'clock. I can't look because I'm filming. So I just write 11 o'clock, and I'm gonna write that I texted a friend earlier about the drama at the meeting, and then I went and I found some old artwork, which is really cool. I'm going to show you some of this. Like, I used to have dreams. I still have dreams, but I used to have dreams, and then I would wake up with artwork in my head. I don't know if I can show this very well, but I'm going to move my little froggy so I don't burn this. Move my little frog. Oh, that just reminded me. I think I met a guy that does video editing at an autistic group meetup. So anyway, okay, so I think for this particular one, I woke up with this idea right here, which I think is really cool. Basically, the vision was, oh, this is so cool. So it's like, it's called, We've Stopped Looking. We've Stopped Looking. I don't know, maybe it's like my soulmate or something. But, so I kind of do the drawing. And as you can see, it's like, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's like two people, like yin and, as if they were yin and yang, right? And on their heads is a fish. It's like profiles. It's the profile of the man is upside down, or the woman is upside down. It's so cute. So this is kind of a bigger one. So what I'll do is this is sort of like a thumbnail. So I'll do a little thumbnail. But I thought, maybe I'll revisit this. Like, I feel like I'm going down into like personal human archives, like my own personal human archive, and just revisiting things that I shelved a long time ago to try and get the job or survive, pay the rent, pay the utility bill, like all those things that you do just to survive, right? And so anyway, here's, I don't know if you can see this. I'll come in closer for some detail. Move it around a little bit. But that looks like I took it up a little bit more. You know, it'd be kind of fun. My friend just got like a whole bunch of scraps of wood. I think I'm going to go up to her house. You know what I need? Oh, it could be really fun. Is wood burning. Some kind of a wood burning thing. Because I could totally see this on a plank. Like a big piece of wood. But I don't know if this is going to be able. I really need shelving for my artwork. I always needed like a good shelf system for my artwork. Well, here's another one that I did, but this is weird. I'm not even sure what the heck this is, but it's not the fish people. But then here, this looks like this is what I ultimately came up with, and I just love it. It's just so beautiful. The title is "We Stopped Looking." I just love it. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but maybe I'll try and do a print and try to get some of my stuff on print on demand. That's a whole nother like area, but I could totally see these like, I was thinking if I could scan them, if any of you have worked with AI before with like Chat GPT, I love it. People are all freaked out about AI, but some of it is like really fun to work with. Anyway, like I'm trying to think of something I recently did with it. Forgot, but anyway, I thought about like scanning this. Oh, that's what it was. I came up, my friends. I made a game for my friends, and I did the game board through AI, and I asked it to do it in 2 pieces. So what I was thinking is if I scan this, because I did upload images, and I asked AI to do certain things with the images for my playing cards for my friends' kids, and they came out really interesting. And I wish I knew more about, like, there's just so much to learn, but because I ended up taking the fronts and the backs of the cards and laminating them and doing, it was like really, it took me a long time because I started it like in December, and I was thinking I think I started it before December. I was going to give it to them as a Christmas present. I didn't only but recently give it to them because it took tape to laminate all the cards and I had to glue them onto cardstock. But I think there probably would be a way, and there's more geniuses out here who would know how to do this, is to get the fronts and the backs aligned onto stock card, so then just laminate it or something with that. But I taped each one, cut the corners, and like, and what it was like AI generated images that I said, give me a child that is of this race, and and then it would print off. I said, give me 12 to a sheet or whatever, and then it gave me these sheets, and it was just so awesome because then I cut them and made the cards. I got the cute backings, and I got to play the game with them, and it was really fun. Like it worked out. Like the game worked out, and I thought it could be fun to like make more games like that. But anyway, so here we are with this beautiful drawing that I did. I don't even know when I did this. but I've just been cleaning up my house and just going through stuff. Kind of doing the Swedish death cleaning. Just getting rid of stuff. And it's kind of strange. Here's that really strange one. I'm not even sure what this is. It's like a lot of lips. It's just very bizarre. It's very different. And then there's this one. Like, what is going on here? I don't know. That was, I don't even know why that one came about, but I don't really care for it. It's just bizarre. I like the fish people better. Like that works. Maybe I strayed onto some side channels while I was doing this. I think that's what happened, but this is just so beautiful. I would like to figure out a way to enlarge it a little bit. Maybe build a canvas and paint it in various colors. I think that would be really fun. And yeah, I would just like to do a little series of these in different colors. And get AI to do all the fish scales for me so I don't have to do them. See, that's the beauty of AI, is like it can do stuff for you. And also I had this idea of, I had it on a board forever, and just the other day I was just like, I can't take looking at this for another decade. And basically what it is this idea, which I'm gonna, hopefully I can get to AI to help me now that my car is breaking down. Anyway, I don't know how I'm gonna get to the library now, but oh, it is called the Celestial Tree of Life, and I basically have like a glow on the earth and the roots of the tree like gripping the Mother Earth, and a man and a woman like being rebirthed, like holding little babies, like not babies plural, but like their own little inner person. And I so want to see this come to life. I want to see if I can make this happen. Maybe we'll go with this series of these people, this thing. And yeah, so I'm really grateful that I didn't have a meltdown. I'm very tired. And I think I definitely got overstimulated today. I got overstimulated by the lady in the library that would not leave me alone. And yeah, this smells, sights, sounds, all of it. And I'm thinking hopefully bit by bit over time, and if you're in the same boat as me, we'll be paddling along together. We can paddle along together and figure out, who the real me is, who the real you is. And I think if you're a friend of a neurodiverse person, maybe you can help by telling them, hey, it's okay to be you. It's okay if you need to rock, or you need to stem, or you need, can I get you some water? Can I do anything to make your life easier today for you? Because it's, I laugh about that job. I laugh about, I what else can I do? Like, I really wanted to do that job for a while. I thought I was good at it. I think I was pretty darn good at it. But you know, I can't control other people's idiosyncrasies or, you know, their opinion. Like, I'm pretty sure that guy thought I was just messing around on the computer for fun. And, you know, it's really discouraging, really, honestly, if you think about it, and you're out there and you're trying and you're getting jobs and you're doing jobs and you're doing good and you're just dealing with the idiosyncrasies of people and navigating a world that your brain is just not, you know, like, I get, even with my own neurodiverse friends, I get exhausted. I get exhausted hanging out with them. And I love them. I get completely exhausted. And I know they're going to be watching this. I love you guys. And you know that. You know I love you. And you probably get exhausted after hanging out with me, too. So it goes both ways. But anyway, yeah, we're just going to pull some things out of the cobwebs. We pulled a few songs out of the cobwebs. And let's see where things go from here. And anyway, I think that's all I got for tonight, and that's probably plenty. Don't forget to spin.